Hello, I'm Happy Caldwell, and I want to thank you for watching VTN, the Victory Television Network, and I want to thank you for joining me for today's edition of Arkansas Live. Our special guest today is Rose Mimms, Executive Director of the Arkansas Right to Life. We're going to give you two shots at the upcoming March for Life, January the 19th. Mark it on your calendar. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking to Rose in just a moment. Arkansas Live starts right now. You know, Rose, excuse me before I introduce you. I want to make sure people understand. The building that we're in is still undergoing reconstruction from the tornado, ongoing its second year now. And you might hear some pounding and drilling upstairs above us, but there's nothing we can do about it. So just bear with us. We've had to put up with this for almost 2 years now. And there's no fault of your set or any problems. It's just construction going on upstairs. Rose, it's always a blessing to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Pastor. It's always great to be here.
And you got a march coming up, another march?
We are still marching for life, yes.
Hallelujah. Well, you told me one time you just got to keep doing it. You just got to keep.
Right.
And that's what teaching is, repetition of a truth. And I want to let everybody know, January 19th at 2 p.m., mark that on your calendar. If you have a Sunday school group, if you're a teacher, if you're a pastor, if you have any position in your church, make sure everybody knows it. Put it in the bulletin. And lead the way, because we've got to keep doing this. We've got to keep marching for life. And you might say, oh, well, Pastor Caldwell, didn't the Supreme Court overturn Roe versus Wade? Yes, they did. But if you've noticed in the news, abortion is still going on. There are still those that are fighting for abortion, for what they call, and I really never did figure this out, for they call it their right, reproductive rights. They say this is their reproductive right. Well, of course, it's their right to reproduce, but it's not their right to abort the child. And I think we're probably going to keep doing this until Jesus comes. So you need to be a part of it. Teach your children to do it. I'm blessed, Rose, when I see the interviews with the young people that have gotten on board. And every year at the march, you see them, and they're speaking up. Why do you think that is? I mean, is Arkansas Right to Life been educating the young people?
Well, you know, we've been doing this march. This will be our 47th annual March for Life. So we've been doing it a long time, and families come to the march. I mean, it's a large amount of families that come. So they bring their little children from in strollers, babies, you know. And so year after year, it's ingrained into the children. This is what we do. We stand for life. And so as the children get older, they're coming, bringing their families. So it's a generational thing, and we've seen it over and over again.
I want you to explain to people, if they've not ever been to a March for Life, what it involves, what time they need to be there, where do they need to meet, parking, and then that kind of thing.
Okay. Well, it's in January, so it's cold. It's an outdoor event, you know, so it's in downtown Little Rock. We start at State Street, which is, you know, over the years it's changed, and, you know, but now we're back marching up Capitol Avenue to the Capitol steps, start at State Street. Parking lots are open. You know, there's no meter parking they have to worry about. So they can park anywhere along the route, or they can park at the state capitol, because we have a short program. The march itself starts at 2 p.m., so they can park closer to where it starts on State Street, or they can park at the Capitol and walk down, and that way when the program's over, they can get in their car and leave. But we have buses that bring, you know, from around the state, bring people to the march. So, you know, we encourage churches. We get out the word to churches, and we have speakers. We have a lot of participation by our elected officials, the governor, lieutenant governor, Attorney General, you know, Secretary of State. All those people support the March for Life and the right to life. And so they want to be seen there. Our state senators and state representatives come.
And Arkansas is still the most pro-life state in America.
Right, for 4 years running, and maybe 5. We haven't got the list yet, but we will be soon.
Well, I believe we're going to be held accountable. I believe pastors are going to be held accountable for dealing with this issue. It's a very divisive issue, very tender on both sides, those that have had abortions and those that may have abortions. And we need to keep teaching them and keep reminding them there are other alternatives. Does Arkansas Right to Life provide adoptive information, or do they just give people that option?
Well, we have a program called the Choose Life Specialty Plate. It's an official, special plate that people can buy for their cars, that all the money generated from the sale of the Choose Life plate in Arkansas goes into a fund that supports and promotes adoption. And those funds are awarded as grants to crisis pregnancy centers, adoption agencies, to help them to promote adoption in Arkansas. So yes, we are a big supporter of adoption.
Okay, people do need to know this March for Life is going to be January 19th at 2 p.m. Please be encouraged to be a part of it. It's been going on for how many years again?
40. This will be our 47th.
47th year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've had an impact and saved a lot of babies' lives.
Oh, I believe we have.
Yeah.
And, we need volunteers, too. So if anybody would be willing to serve as a volunteer, they can call the number that they'll see on their screen a little bit later or email us and let us know that they would like to serve. And we have a number of different, ways to serve. You can carry a red bucket and help us take up a collection. We just pass the bucket to help defray the cost associated with the March for Life. And then also we want people to serve as what we call parade marshals. They just sort of help us make sure that everything's going smoothly.
Right.
Nobody's, harassing the marchers, and that everybody's safe. And knock on wood, we have had a very safe event for 46 years.
You really have. The times that I have marched, even though there have been a little heckling along the roadside going down Capitol it's nothing to be concerned about. Just people expressing their opinion. But you got good security, and I don't think have any major events. Okay, is there a theme for this year's March?
Well, it's help keep Arkansas abortion free. Since the reversal of Roe versus Wade and the Dobbs decision back in June of 2022, there has not been abortion in Arkansas. Now, that's not to say women aren't getting the abortion pill illegally or going out of our state for abortions in other states. We know that happens, but there are no businesses in Arkansas. There are no for what they call brick and mortar shops
mills,
that are performing abortions, and we want to keep it that way. We want to make abortions rare in Arkansas. We have a life of the mother only exception, and so far no abortions have been reported for even that exception in Arkansas since, I guess, since we ended abortion in June of 2022.
I called you the day that went down. I was in Branson at a NACL, Senator Rapert. We were all in the College of the Ozarks auditorium. And there's senators and representatives from all over the country, at least half the country. And they came out and announced Roe versus Wade, what Supreme Court. And I called you because I said, I am right here in the middle of this. Yeah. And these people, now these are senators and representatives, they lifted up their hands and began to praise God. Some of them were weeping. And, it's a wonderful thing to see a state rally. And I asked Senator Rapert if I could go thank the legislature. That was an experience. And he graciously allowed me to do that. And so both the Senate and the House allowed me to open with vocation. First thing I did was thank them for making Arkansas the most pro-life state in America. And what I didn't see is while I was praying, many of them got up and walked out.
Wow.
And so some of the senators came up to me and said, don't let that bother you. I said, they do that all the time. There are always going to be people that are not going to be for it. But look at the people that are across America, and look at Arkansas. I'm very proud of Arkansas as a state for leading the way there, and I know you are too.
I am, and Senator Rayford and Mary Bentley get a lot of credit for
Mary
sponsoring that trigger bill that in the event that Roe versus Wade would be overturned, that Arkansas would be, life of the mother only. And unfortunately, we saw just recently after the election in November that our sister state, Missouri, who was the first state that also had a trigger law that was able to stop abortion in their state. I think Arkansas was number 7 on that day that we ended abortion in our state. But Missouri was number 1, and now they passed an amendment that would allow abortions up to the moment of birth with no kind of safeguards at all for their mothers and their unborn children. It's very sad.
For those of you that are thinking, oh boy, here we go again, y'all are going to hammer on this until Jesus comes. Yeah, because in the scriptures it says in Proverbs 6, there's 6 things the Lord hates, 7 are abomination. And one of those things is in Proverbs 6:16. It says, hands that shed innocent blood. There's going to have to be an accounting. And you don't want to be standing there when that accounting is taking place and be one that have supported or encouraged the shedding of innocent blood, abortion on demand. You want to be one of the ones that says, no, there's a better way. There's adoption. There's other ways to face your problem, if it's a problem, the situation that you're facing. So does Arkansas Right to Life have any counseling available to women?
No, our mission is primarily educational, and then we work in legislation to pass laws to protect life and protect pregnant women. But there are crisis pregnancy centers that offer post-abortion counseling, and alternative counseling to abortion. But I want to say that, there have been many people that have repented, that were in the abortion industry, women who have had abortions, fathers who have been a party to abortion, that have repented and that have recognized their sin. Abortion is a sin. Arkansas's Right to Life is not a religious-based organization, but as a believer myself, I know that abortion is a sin, and it will not end until Jesus comes back, as you said. But there is hope and there's healing after abortion. And I just want to mention now briefly about the memorial that will be built at the Arkansas State Capitol, because we are now offering a stone to be engraved that donors to that fund can put a name of a child maybe that was aborted, or the date of their abortion in Arkansas, or maybe a scripture quote that will be included in the memorial. It's called the Living Wall Monument to the Unborn Child. And for up until March 1st, a $100 donation can get you up to 4 lines on a stone with 15 characters per line. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Now they will have to send it in with their check, what they want printed, and they can't have just anything printed. It will be, we'll have to approve what they want printed. But I think it will give them an opportunity to recognize a child or a grandchild or a friend's child that was lost to abortion. In Arkansas, we had 250,000 that were killed during that Roe v. Wade period in Arkansas, many of them from out of state, but a lot of them were in-state women. And they don't have a place to go and grieve for their child, and they will at the Living Wall Monument.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was going to be my next comment. You're having a banquet, is that right? For I'm sorry, not a banquet, but a living wall where people can have the names engraved, and for $100 you can do 4
lines on one stone.
On one stone.
Yep.
Just the name and 4 lines.
Well, it's 4 lines total. A name could be 1 line, and a date could be the next line.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be 4 lines. It could be 1 line.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, we're offering that to help raise funds because we don't really have a budget yet, but it's going to be hundreds, at least $100,000, if not more. We've raised about $10,000 so far, and so we need a lot more money. And we thought having a stone engraved is a great idea. Number one, you see that at lots of memorials offer that, and so we're offering it for the living wall, and so that anybody who's wants to express something permanently in a stone can do that for $100. Now, after March 1st, it goes up to $150. Because if they want to give more, great. We would love for you to give more. Because we don't even really know at this point how many stones we're going to have available for engraving. It could be 2,000, it could be 6,000. I'm just not sure just yet. But we want to start it going now so that those who are interested in it can make sure they get a stone engraved.
Okay, here's the website, and here's how you can help the Arkansas Right to Life organization. If you want to use your text on your phone, text Living Wall to 501-799-7897. Send checks payable to Monument to the Unborn Children's Display Fund, Arkansas Right to Life, Box 1697, Little Rock, Arkansas 72203. Website ARTL. If that's too much for you to write down or remember, just go to their website. You'll have that information there. This can be a family donation. This can be in memory of maybe you had a child aborted, or maybe you know somebody that did, or just in general for children. And make a donation. This could be a Sunday school class. This could be a Bible study group. Get together and do something. I know the neighborhood I live in out in the country, we have to pay our own expenses because it's not in the city limits, and it's if you want to improve the roads, or if you want to have we had just recently converted over to city water because we had our own water system. Well, everybody had to pay their share, and we just recently resurfaced and paved the roads. There's only 50 homes there, so everybody had to take a bite out of a $350,000 project. Some people willingly did it. Others just said, I can't do that. That's just too much for me. So we gave people an opportunity to pay it out monthly, or we gave certain residents that had expressed a desire to pay their neighbor's share, to do something to commemorate. It's a great place to live. Everybody loves it. We moved out there because it's in the country and quiet and peaceful, but we have to pay for our own. I called a judge friend of mine that I know that lives out there, and I said, what do we do when the snow and ice comes? I said, your dozers don't clean our road. He said, no, that's because you're not in the city and you've got gates into your neighborhood. He says, and we can't go into your gates. Now, if you want to take the gates down, then we'll be glad to include that and plow the snow. Well, nobody wanted to take the gates down, so they have to plow their own snow. But as a group, we're able to do certain things. As a group of believers, you can do something, and you can help Arkansas Right to Life, this Living Donor Wall, commemorate the lives of these children. For just $100, you can take one name and 4 lines. I'm thinking right now that, I would like to do that. Maybe you would like to do it too. Here's how you can get the information. If you go online, you can go to ARTL.org, or you can email ARTL@ARTL.org. The phone number is area 501-663-4237. And the mailing address is Arkansas Right to Life, P.O. Box 1697, Little Rock 72203. So get that information, write it down, and they just make the check payable to Arkansas Right to Life. So you can make the check, whatever you want to do. And do it as soon as you can. Now is Christmas, a good time to do this. I know my sister every year sends me, she doesn't really send me a present. She sends me a receipt for an organization that she's donated to in my name. And she's big on that. And you might want to do the same thing. And get enough of us together, then they'll have plenty of names and lines under those names. So do it now. But also mark down January 19th, so you can be at the Arkansas Right to Life March. It's really enthusiastic. I mean, you get buses from churches all over the state, and they bring people in there, and they're happy, they're singing, they're rejoicing, and you have a special guest today. Tell us just a little about this special guest this year.
Yeah, it's Lauren Eden, and Lauren is an abortion survivor, unlike Gianna Jessen, who spoke a few years ago. Lauren was I don't know that she was actually born in Arkansas, but her story is an Arkansas story. She is out of Atlanta right now, but she found out not too long ago that her mother tried very hard to abort her in Arkansas at 2 different abortion clinics. So she is now a speaker with the Abortion Survivor Network. So she's going to come and share her story and how that has affected her relationship with her mother, finding out that information. So I would encourage everybody to come and hear Lauren speak and to bring 10 people with you. Our march has gone down in numbers over the years. I don't know exactly why, but I would like to get our numbers back up just to show that we are a pro-life state and that this is a good way to, if not once a year, to stand up for life and to show up and to show out, to show that we are a pro-life state. And hopefully these people will go back to where they live and work and talk to other people and educate them. But again, we need volunteers. And remember, it's January, but it's cold, but dress accordingly. We will be there, rain or shine, sleet or snow. We're praying for good weather, sunshine, blue skies, but we don't often get that. But it'll be a great program. It won't last too long. We should have everybody out home, or leaving the Capitol by 3:30, 3:45 at the latest. But it starts at 2 p.m. with the march. We have a program once everybody reaches we'll have a little bit of music and a couple of pastors praying.
Right.
And everybody that comes will walk away uplifted, energized, ready to take on the battle, because the battle is still ongoing. Like you said earlier, abortion, it's not over. We're going to have to fight this till Jesus comes back.
And when people hear you say the battle, they might think, what battle? Well, Rose and people just like her are at the state capitol all the time, dealing with legislation, encouraging legislators, because everybody's not on this bandwagon, so they're encouraging people. And I happen to think while you were talking now, and I'm just assuming briefly from what I've heard, the evangelical vote helped or assisted President Trump be elected president. And of course, I guess the jury's still out on how much that affected his vote. But generally speaking, he gives credit to the evangelical group that voted for him because of his pro-life stand. And I thought once or twice there he was teeter-tottering, waving back and forth, but I think people reminded him of his promise and held his feet to the fire. Okay, if we have a pro-life state, second or third time in America, now we have a pro-life president. If we don't take advantage of this, you don't want to go back to where we came from with pro-death culture. We want the pro-life to stay. We want our congressional representatives to stay pro-life. We want our state to stay pro-life. We want to save lives. That's what we're really talking about.
Yeah. Well, we have to build a culture for life.
Yes.
And, it's changing hearts and minds one at a time. And that's why it's so important to talk to your family, talk to your friends, talk to your neighbors, everybody, your pastor. That is so critical to get the church involved in this, because it is a spiritual issue. And we must continue to work every way we can. And President Trump is the most pro-life president so far. You know, he helped to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Yeah.
You know, and now we have to take that. You know, we had 10 states on the ballot, you know, and we won in only 3, you know, so that's their strategy now, is to take out states one by one now that the states can decide. But even though we have a pro-life president, a pro-life Congress, and in our state, all of our constitutional officers and the General Assembly is strongly pro-life, you know, we can only do so much with law. We have to change hearts and minds.
That's right.
And that takes a conversion of heart and mind.
And that's where you come in. And I want to address the pastors very briefly, because we're running out of time. Pastors, you cannot be afraid of your congregation. You cannot be afraid of their opinions, whether they're going to leave the church. If you say something about a, quote, what they think is a political issue, it's not a political issue. It's a spiritual issue. It's a Bible issue. But you have a responsibility to speak life to your congregation and encourage them to attend this march, and to encourage your church to support pro-life. Let me put the address back up there one more time before we leave, so you viewers can write it down. You can go online, you can text me, you can make donations to Arkansas Right to Life. You can say, I want to sponsor one of the stones in the living wall. It's ARTL.org. Email is artl@artl.org. Phone number is area 501-663-4237. Mailing address, Arkansas Right to Life, P.O. Box 1697, Little Rock, Arkansas 72203. So do it now. And if you want to call down there and ask to speak to Rose, she lives there, you can. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't live there, but it seems like she does. But make a difference. We've come a long way, and we need to continue. Thank you, Rose. I appreciate you being here again today. And thank you. Remember, Jesus is Lord over Arkansas and where you're watching too.
Send your questions, comments, and testimonies to Happy Caldwell at Post Office Box 26207, Little Rock, Arkansas 72221, or email happycaldwell@vtntv.com. Remember to follow VTN on Facebook at VTN Your Arkansas Christian Connection, and follow Happy Caldwell on X at Happy_Caldwell. VTN is on Roku. Search VTN in the channel store and add us to your lineup. Today's episode is available to watch on demand at VTNTV.com and click Watch. You can also watch VTN via live stream at VTNTV.com.